So now we're back into Final Polish 3. And what I'm doing on this pass is, first I'm taking a look at the color correction. And I'm taking screenshots. I'm comparing each of these scenes to frame 1. To make sure that they match across the board. I still don't love all the yellowish in this, but still matching the base color will help in the end. You can see there that I'm matching the blacks. I'm also pasting the tritone layer, adjustment layer into each of these scenes if it doesn't already have it. The tritone layer helps to establish a base level of color correction. I should have mentioned too at the beginning of this that I didn't do notes for this third polish pass or the fourth because at this point all the adjustments are very subtle adjustments that I feel like they could be adjusted per my personal taste. They don't necessarily have to be adjusted. The one that does need to be adjusted still is the color, but I know that already. So some of these adjustments I'm making right now, like with the background black texture I've added, is just a personal preference that I think may add something, it may not. I thought I'd just play around a little bit with the textures here at the end. So this is a little too black. Pasting the tritone in and adjusting the blend mode, yeah, it helps it. I also needed to turn off the flicker, I forgot about that. But I really liked the flicker from that scene 9, so I went back into my flicker effect that I've applied to the entire composition and tweaked the frequency and amplitude parameters to match what I had going on in scene 9. Now this scene was still feeling way too slow and way too long compared to all the other scenes. The energy just really got lost when we hit this scene. So at this point, I thought it was best to add a additional image to the scene to speed things up and make things more interesting. I also thought that I would cut out the titles from the first scene and paste them into this second scene inside scene 6. Hopefully that's not confusing. But that the camera move would be the same. So the camera's pulling out, doing a slight rotation on the first photo, but it continues that same move. It's a seamless cut to the next photo, and that's where we would see the titles. I also thought that adding a warm shutter over the top would help transition between the two scenes. I felt like the cut was too harsh, but the shutter could probably reduce that harshness and still keep the same feeling where it's one camera move back. So that worked. The timing was a little off. The warm flash stayed too bright for too long. I just needed to be a much quicker transition. So now moving back into scene 9, I'm deleting the flicker. And once again, comparing scenes. The looks effect was definitely too much. The looks effect essentially took everything that was kind of interesting previously and just washed it out, and it just didn't work. So again, I'm comparing color corrections across the board. At this point, I have the film looks turned off. You could also do this by pressing F5 on your keyboard, but I wanted to show that I was comparing looks. But it's much quicker just to click F5. If I wanted to be super precise with the colors, I would probably pull up some sort of scopes, use a plugin with scopes in it. There's some really interesting ones that have come out recently, but a lot of times I just do things by eye. I would say 99% of the time I do things by eye. Still going through scene by scene and tweaking the color correction of the color correction layers, along with, and those have lumetri on them, along with the tritone layers. Here's a scene that does not have the tritone effect applied to it. And I think it's throwing this particular scene off, so I'm going to copy and paste the tritone. Going to lower the lumetri color correction, as well as the tritone on this one. I want to see a little bit of red in that flag, which I do. This frame feels off. Lower the lumetri. The blacks are still too black compared to the bluish blacks. Here I was fine-tuning the wiggle position, cranked it all the way down to 0.25%. 0.25 pixels, sorry. So it's not even moving 1 pixel at a time, but it's 24 times a second. So just that little bit of movement is really going to be noticed. And you can really tell in these final polish passes, everything's just really starting to come together. All the animation's in. It's just these fine tuning of colors and subtle effects and things like that. And these subtleties that help sell the animation and make it that much better. So again, I'm comparing scene 1 to all the rest of the scenes to make sure everything's lining up. I think at this point I've done 3 or 4 color passes, which is actually more than it typically takes, but that's okay. It's looking good. You can see how nice the glow effect looks on certain scenes. Really makes those whites just kind of ethereal. That's a little too much red. Here I'm going to add a CC vignette across the board. And again, I'm going back into looks to see if I can add just something. And that's kind of interesting. It's a boost in contrast as well as another vignette. So here I try pasting the textures from a previous scene into this scene to see how that works. It just really dirties up this image. So I also want to just slightly tweak the transform scale property. See how that looks. And then back in this scene, I know I'm jumping around, but back in this scene, the texture, it works in part of the scene, but not in another part. So I'm gonna have it come on, and then once the jet comes on in the scene, the texture will be gone at that point. It'll just cut away. I'm going to create an adjustment layer over the jet footage. I'm sorry, I'm going to create a solid over the jet footage. I'm going to try creating a soft vignette around the jet to make this shot a little more interesting. Yeah, that helps. Yeah, and these final tweaks are almost there. Sweet, that's working better. I want to do a little bit more of a push in on the quick edits. And then I want to take this text and I'm going to position it above the soldiers because it's just not working with the difference mat. I just don't care for it. So as my final tweak, I'm going to change the placement of this text. I'm just going to drag it up, and that's going to do it for me. That wraps up this course on main title animation, American Soldier. I just want to say thank you for checking out the course, seeing what you thought of it. Please leave me your feedback in the comments or feel free to send me an email at any time. I love getting feedback and hearing what you guys think about these courses, so it only helps me to make them better in the future. Thanks again for checking out the course, and until next time, I'm Cameron, and this is Motion Science.